Okay, so we are at that stage now. It has come to a simmer at this point. We don't necessarily have to bring it to a boil. Can you see it? Can you see it? There are bubbles around the edges. That's what you want. We don't want to boil it. We want to bring it to a simmer. So at this point, it's actually 180 degrees. Remember that we're not using a thermometer. So this is a critical stage. You must not miss it. Once it simmers, that is your 180 degrees. We take it off the heat. Right? So we are taking off the heat, and then we are to cool it to 110, anywhere between 110 and 115 degrees centigrade. Sorry, Fahrenheit. 180 degrees Fahrenheit was what we brought it to. Then we're going to cool it to 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Here, the next stage now is for us to pour this into, I'm using a vacuum flask. I'm pouring this into a vacuum flask. The whole essence is that we are supposed to hold it at this temperature for 30 minutes, and this is very critical. It's a very critical stage. The reason we're holding it at this temperature for 30 minutes is that I found that it gives a better result. It does give a better result. It gives a thicker yogurt. So this is very important. So we're going to time it for 30 minutes. It stays here for 30 minutes. So if you don't have a vacuum flask, right, if you have an oven, you can heat your oven to 115, for instance, 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and put the milk, right, in the oven, maybe with the pilot light on. The whole essence is to maintain this 180 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. It makes for a thicker yogurt. In the past, when I did it without this, I know that there is a difference between the result I had then and the result I'm having now. So we do that, and then we'll come back and continue the class. Okay, so here we are. The 30 minutes is over. So what we need to do is to pour this out. We'll pour the milk out now. We've held it here for 30 minutes, so we're pouring it out. So at this point, we are supposed to cool to 110, 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So how we'll do that is to use our clean hand. So we need to insert our fingers into it. But it must be clean fingers. Our fingers must be clean. Clean fingers into it to check. So what you're looking for, pay attention to this, please, very important. What you're looking for is hot but bearable. Hot but bearable. Here we are. We want to cool to 110 degrees centigrade. So you put your fingers in there. You're checking for whether or not it's hot but bearable. It's quite hot, it's not bearable yet, so we would wait. You could put this in a water bath, but I wouldn't really recommend that, because since we've had it for 30 minutes, the temperature might crash so soon, right? So I would suggest you keep it here and keep checking instead of putting it in a water bath. So we are there now. Right now it's hot but bearable. Again, keep this in mind, hot but bearable. So this is at that temperature where it's somewhere around 110, 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So at this point, we would introduce our culture. So this is our starter culture that we are using. It's called Yogourmet. It's our starter culture. So this one sachet is for a liter of milk, which is 4 cups. So this is what we do. But first of all, you take some milk. This is already sterilized. I hope I mentioned that every single thing that your yogurt touches must be sterilized, because you do not want to introduce bad bacteria. Okay. Pour it in here. And then we need to hurry at this point so that the milk doesn't cool below 110. So we pour the you see that? You see that we're mixing the starter culture into the milk, the portion of milk that we have poured out earlier. We have poured into the plate earlier. Okay, so that's it. So at this point, we are going to be introducing the culture. We are not incorporating. Note the term. We are introducing the culture into the milk. So what that means is that you will stir carefully. You will stir it carefully. We are introducing the culture. We are not incorporating it. You stir carefully. Okay, so that's all, and then we pour into our incubating container that had been sterilized before now. Sterilized with boiling water, of course, before now. Everything your yogurt touches must be sterilized.